Hey everyone, it is Finn here, that is FYWN. I hope you guys are all doing super well. In the previous video, it was a bit of a bummer because we spoke about the top 10 players with the biggest market value decrease, which I think you guys still enjoyed that video. But you know what, on this video, we will end it off on a high note, or we will start it off at least on a high note, with the top 10 players with the biggest market value increase, which players have done so well that they've really increased their value this season. There's lots of youngsters. The oldest one on this list is 22 years old. Does that upset me as an 18-year-old? You know, half these players are on this list are younger than me and that they'll probably achieve way more than me. No, why would that upset me? Just because I'm sitting in my room looking at my phone talking to it. I can achieve things too, you know. I hope. I just made myself sad. So guys, if you do enjoy this channel, please do subscribe and hit that like button to let me know that you are enjoying it. We are almost 500 subscribers and I'd really appreciate the help and support. The first player on this list is going to be the Brazilian left back for Atletico Madrid, Renan Lodi, with a £27.9 million increase, which is a huge increase. And what do you expect when it's your first proper season for a team like Atletico Madrid? You have been thrown into the first team when it comes to Champions League and regular La Liga gameplay. You almost expect your value to rise up by so much. He's only 21 years old. I think he has a bright future. And it's so weird to think of all the great Brazilian left backs. Over the last 10 years at least, we've had good ones like Felipe Luis, we've had Marcelo, Alexandro. I'm sure there's lots of names I am missing out. And if you think 20 years ago or whatever, you had Roberto Carlos. Brazil has always been stacked with good left backs. And to think that, Lodi has already gotten 4 appearances for Brazil shows how good he is in that left back position to be able to break into that team. Along with that, Atletico Madrid are 6th this season, which isn't so good, but at the same time for him to be in that first team in his first proper season after, some great players have played left back for them, I think it's well deserved that he gets a value increase. We get into the 9th place position, and it is going to be French midfielder Eduardo Camavinga, who is a 17-year-old, which is so incredibly young. He's younger than me. That scares me, the fact that he's actually younger than me and he's achieving so much. At Rennes as Rennes, I don't know how you pronounce the name.
Rennes.
At the end of the day, same value increase as our previous player. He's still so young, as I said, 17 years old. Got 1 goal, 2 assists in 25 games, and he's broken into the first team at Rennes at such a young age, at 17 years old. And Rennes themselves, or Rennes, or that team.
Rennes.
Has already achieved 3rd place so far this season in League One, which is very good for a 17-year-old to be in a team like that. He has to be very impressed with himself. In 8th place, we have Manchester United player, yes, one of my boys, Mason Greenwood, with a £28.8 million increase, which at the beginning of the season, apparently according to the article I read, because all of this is from an article I read, which I thought I'd share with you guys, he was worth 0 at the beginning of the season, which it's unlike me. I started everything in my life worth £0, and you know what? I'm still worth that.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine.
Mason Greenwood is an absolute star, and I've seen people say now that Jadon Sancho is 20, who the best teenager in the world is, which of course it's Haaland. But guys, I want to ask your opinion because I've had a few debates with people. Who do you think is better between Mason Greenwood and Martinelli from Arsenal? I want you guys to vote in the I thingy up above. I'd really appreciate that. Mason Greenwood has gotten 11 goals in 15 starts for Manchester United. 5 goals in the Premier League and 5 goals in the Europa League, plus a goal, everywhere in different competitions. He is looking so promising. He's gotten Europa League Player of the Week in one of the weeks. He is looking like a star with, endless comparisons to Robin van Persie. And I'm so glad he's a Manchester United player. Please don't leave us. We go to the 7th place position, and it is going to be from Mason Greenwood to Mason Mount. We're jumping from Mason to Mason. It is going to be Mason Mount. And he has grown a huge £29.7 million, and he's actually broken into the first team of Chelsea, which is so impressive. He's done well on both loans that he's gone on, especially at Derby County, where he worked under Frank Lampard. So of course, it's Chelsea boy. He's obviously grown very well, and he's gotten more appearances for England than Grealish. Of course, Grealish hasn't got an appearance yet, but Mount has gotten 6 appearances, and he's already gotten a goal for England. In 29 games in the Premier League, he has gotten 6 goals and 4 assists, which is very young, and as an attacking midfielder for England, I think could really break into the first team or he's already broken into the first team for Chelsea, but he could be a serious contender for one of the main midfielders for England in upcoming years. In 6th place, we have a player, I'm not gonna lie, I haven't heard of this guy's name before, so I have to read it off here. It is going to be Dejan Luzevski, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'm sorry if it's not. 19-year-old from Parma, but he is worth so much because he's actually on loan from Juventus. He's already made an appearance for his national team, Sweden, and he's actually done pretty well itself since he's been at Parma. I mean, if you look at his stats, he does have 5 goals, 7 assists, which is very good for a winger. He can also play midfielder. I mean, let's be honest, in the Swedish team, you're never going to live up off the name of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Or you know what? He might actually. Okay. The next player is going to be a Real Sociedad player, and it is one of the most obvious one on the list. I mean, £31.5 million increase. It is going to be Odegaard. He is, of course, on loan from Real Madrid. He's gone on a few loans, but hasn't really, achieved anything. I mean, he's been considered a flop at Real Madrid, but now he is looking so incredibly promising with 4 goals, 5 assists in the Liga. And the young Norwegian, I mean, I do have to say, Norway could actually do seriously well in the Euros. If you think about Sørloth and Holland ahead, with Odegaard behind him, I mean, they're all just future stars. They're all just looking absolutely incredible. And I want to ask you guys, do you think Norway will do well in the Euros? Whatever year that ends up happening. Vote in the I thingy up above. I don't know which side it is. In 4th place, we've got Ansu Fati from Barcelona, the 17-year-old. Fati, I'm pretty sure that was my name in high school. He was worth £0 in the beginning of the season and is now worth £36 million. I mean, he's made such a name for himself. I mean, he's broken record after record after record. He's been the youngest player to score in La Liga. He's been the youngest ever player to score at Camp Nou when he was 16. And he is the youngest ever player in La Liga to get a goal and assist in the same game. I mean, he has now declared that he will play for Spain nationally, where he could have played for Guinea beforehand. He has also scored in the Champions League. At the end of the day, he is looking like such a young superstar, and I think that Barcelona really have themselves something. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen a proper prodigy. We've seen a proper good young player come from the Barcelona team. Why is that such a struggle for me to say? Who are my writers? Where are they? In 3rd place, we have a Real Madrid player, which if you didn't see, the players that I put in my biggest market value decrease, go check that video out. I'll put it in the I think up above for you to watch that video. You know what? There were quite a few Real Madrid players there, and there's a Real Madrid player here in the top 3 for increases, which is promising for them. It is Valverde, the young 21-year-old Uruguayan midfielder who's played 20 appearances already for Uruguay for the national team, which is very promising. To think only if Suarez, Cavani and Godin were like 2-3 years younger, how strong that team would look now that the form that everyone is in. But you know what, Valverde, without a doubt, lots of people are saying that he probably is Real Madrid's best midfielder so far this season. I mean, who would have thought Ballon d'Or winner Modric would actually fall and crumble? Who would have predicted that? But yeah, 2 goals, 4 assists for the midfielder, the Uruguayan midfielder. It does look very, very promising for Real Madrid, and I think they've got a good midfielder on their hands. Martinez from Inter Milan, who's actually the oldest player on this list at the age of 22. I mean, that is absolutely insane to think that the oldest player here is 22. But yes, £45 million increase. And just to think that that partnership between him and Lukaku up front, I mean, can you imagine having like 2 strikers like that? I mean, that is so promising. And I think Martinez could really replace Sergio Aguero once he leaves Manchester City, because I think, obviously that Argentina striker kind of thing, although, obviously Jesus could do that. But you know what, I think Martinez would also be a good addition to the team. But he's already played 17 appearances for Argentina, which is insane to think of the strikers that Argentina have had. He's already scored 9 goals for Argentina, which is insane. This season, in 22 appearances in the Serie A, he has scored 11 goals, which also, once again, insane. And 5 goals in the Champions League out of 6 games. I mean, there's no wonder why his value increased by so much. He is, a star. In the 1st place position, guys, this is probably the most obvious one in the entire world. I mean, let's be honest. It's Lingard. Okay, it is going to be a Haaland, I do have to say, with a £49.5 million increase. I mean, to think that he's only worth 54 according to this article, I mean, I do have to say I disagree. I mean, to be honest, if any top team had to buy him, I would say at least £90 million. I mean, even if not 100, because he is actually an absolute animal. And I want to ask him the I think up above, who do you think will win a Ballon d'Or first between Haaland and Mbappe? I'm not going to get into this article because I don't feel like being attacked, to be honest with you, but I think definitely both of them will probably end up winning one. Who will get one first? Just vote up above. But Haaland, I mean, just looking at his stats here, because I always keep them here, because especially Haaland, I mean, his numbers are scary, I do have to say. But yeah, I mean, a hat-trick in his first Dortmund game. When he was at Red Bull Salzburg, I mean, 16 goals in 14 games. In the Champions League itself, 10 goals. I mean, this man is unbeatable. He has gotten 12 goals in 10 games at Dortmund. I mean, he just won't stop scoring, will he? And to think that he worked under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the best manager of all time, when he was at Molde in Norway, I mean, that's just saying something. So you know what, this is a great striker, and I think he definitely will make a move to either Real Madrid or maybe Manchester United. A man can still have hope, can't he? That would be pretty awesome. Guys, I hope you have enjoyed this video. Click on my logo down below to subscribe to this channel. I'd really appreciate it. And follow my Instagram. That is my personal Instagram. It's actually Finn Kraus, don't you know? And check out that video. Hope you have enjoyed it. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed it. Love every single one of you. Stay awesome. Cheers.